through Zoom, and we'll have an opportunity to connect directly with Tarek. And with that, we'll move right into the film. Enjoy.
Why did you want to do this film?
I wasn't expecting that question. There's the Miss America level of answering the question that I want world peace and everyone to love each other and stuff like that, which is true, right? I really want a contribution to something positive. All I had was an idea that came to me with such power that I couldn't say no. I was on a tram in Switzerland, and I just was in a daydream. And the vision of going to America, searching for Americans, finding them, trying to connect with people in kindness instead of fear, all those elements just all of a sudden came, and I needed to rush off the train and do this now. Some people might say it's naive, but then I don't know what's naive. When something comes to you as a calling and you feel it deep in your heart and you do it, you know it's right, even if it's stupid and naive. Well, this is the movie, is we're taking people to Egypt and getting them to meet Egyptians and talking about each other, right?
Okay.
It's a way to get to know each other.
I'm in.
You're in?
So the whole point of this project is, hey, come on over, meet us. Let's exchange ideas. Let me understand what you're afraid of in me. Let me improve myself. Hear my ideas. Let's talk.
So I decided to start things off by going to a Trump rally and visiting places in the South with a friend of mine, Adam Saleh. Do you think like there's a way for us to maybe go to Egypt and understand what's happening there?
No.
Or you think no? You know what's like,
No.
we gotta just shut them down.
Shut 'em down, shut 'em down.
They're our enemy, no matter. Oh,
That's
right,
it.
okay,
That's it.
right.
You want to bring him up here and let him talk about his project?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr.
How
Trump.
are you, sir? What's your name?
Tarek. No, what we're doing is we're taking people here from different points of view, bringing them all together and talking. And we're going to bring some of those people to Egypt to have a dialogue.
And conveniently in Egypt, that's where we send people where we're allowed to torture them. So you're going to bring the people there and then waterboard them until they tell you exactly what they believe in.
Not quite.
How many Americans here want to go to Egypt?
Hey!
Nobody wants to go to Egypt. They want to stay right here. That's what I was telling you.
I feel like this is one of the last chances for America to still be America. I mean, the Sharia law doesn't agree with our Constitution. There's 292 lines in the Quran says to kill the infidel when he's sleeping, slit his throat.
I don't think it's just one nationality. I don't think it's one religion. I think we're to the point in our country now that we need to be vigilant and watch out for ourselves and everyone around us.
It's like Iraq and Iran and Tehran and all of them places.
Okay, we got it.
We just got to
Shut them down.
shut them down
Okay.
and take back our oil that's over there and take care of America.
Face to face, man on the street, it made me think there's not even a desire to build a bridge. There's just a desire for conflict and hate. And that was really just disheartening, or whatever the word is, because I actually thought, in my naivety, there were more people who would want to connect, but people, no, are you crazy? I don't want to come to Egypt. Why would I want to come to Egypt? You know, do I want to be killed? Do I want to be beheaded?
I'm not gonna say nothing.
You're not gonna say?
No.
So after all the rejection and hostility, it created a bit of despair. And when we finally met Brian, it was somebody who held certain views that we consider hostile. And yet, he was open enough to take us seriously.
I just wanted to experience what a Trump rally was like.
Okay. Yeah, we're sometimes thinking, we've been having these ideas about, okay, how we protect Americans and then how we can also create dialogue.
I think Trump is going about it the right way.
Okay.
When you put a temporary ban, just stop everybody from coming in, figure out what's going on, get something built up, and then have people come in legally instead of illegally, you know.
Do you think you'd be interested in going to Egypt? And
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I would love to go to Egypt. It's actually one of my goals. I want to go there. I've just traveled a lot around the world.
Okay, maybe we'll take you there for our film.
Absolutely, I would love to go there.
Okay.
I'll take you up on that offer.
Talk to her, she'll give you the contacts. Hey,
Thank you very
what's your
much.
name again?
I'm Brian.
Brian, nice to meet you, Brian.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you,
Tarek.
Brian. I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. I've always liked working with my hands, and I love anything physical. That's what made me want to join into the Marine Corps. I love doing kind of crazy things. There was no greater fun than kicking down doors and blowing up stuff and having fun like that. It kind of sounds crazy.
Let's talk about Egypt for a minute. What do you expect to encounter there on this trip?
Hoping to experience some, people's way of life. I want to see how they live.
I found out about the trip to Egypt and the project, the documentary, while I was patrolling at the Kentucky Fire and Exposition Center doing a Trump rally, where I met Miss Ingram, and she explained to me, told me about the project, what they was trying to do, and what the film, the documentary was trying to accomplish.
What did you first think when you heard about it?
My first thoughts about the film, it was kind of mixed, because I didn't know, I wanted to find out more. I didn't know what it was about or what it was turned to, and I didn't know if it was a terrorist group trying to get people over there to hold them hostage or whatever. So if we make it to Cairo, I believe that, well, my fear is being taken hostage and maybe shot, hung, head cut off, something like that. And as far as myself, I don't really talk about myself too much, so I don't really know what to say. I mean, but outside of law enforcement, I pretty much do just about anything. Recently working on my landscaping now, trying to get that done. Those are adorable.
We got his address through Dean. We were trying to think of all possibilities on how to get more people to participate. We got Adam to carry a sign in New York City. I believe a lot of people thought it was just a scam, so it was really hard to get people's trust.
Free trip to Egypt? Do you want a free trip to Egypt? Can I tell you more about it? You have to go? Do you want to know more about my project? About my free trip to Egypt? Nah? You don't want to go to Egypt? Nah? Why?
And then the man on the street gave me a little bit more hope. There were still people at least saying, okay, I don't really want to go or I can't go, but good luck, guys. It's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea because, you know, being Jewish, I think it's important that people understand that there are religions that go back thousands and thousands of years, and we can intertwine together. You know, it's not all about who hates who or who, you know, who doesn't like who. I think that education is key, and the more that you can educate people, you know, I think people like us will bring peace to the Middle East.
Definitely, know? I like that. I like that.
That's the most important.
I feel like this is a great idea. To have people not fear the people who they don't even understand. They're already making assumptions of people who it's like, because they see stuff on the news and they automatically think, oh, everybody's like that. And I feel like this trip will show people that everybody's different and not everybody's gonna have the same goals.
So we started looking for participants through the internet.
Hi, my name is Tarek Mounib, and I come from the Muslim community. Are you afraid of me? Okay. My name is Tarek Mounib, and I'm inviting you to come to Egypt on an all-expenses-paid holiday for you and your family. We'll go together to visit the pyramids, and we'd like to document this in a film so other people can enjoy our journey. If you're interested, send us a video as to why you'd like to come.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
So I don't think the video, unfortunately, the video was not very successful in bringing a lot of attention and interest. The response online was quite negative, like super negative, 90% negative. This woman wrote, "I don't think so. After they have admitted that they would torture and behead Americans, I'll pass." So I responded, Hi Delia, thank you for sharing your concern. I'm not sure who they are. The point here, there are Muslims who do love the US and the people here, and we need to connect and build the right bridges. So she responded, I will never trust them. I hope Trump gets every single last one out of our country or kills them. I don't care which. You need to remove your rose-colored glasses. You must be a bleeding heart liberal.
I want to read it. That's fun.
And then we were on a radio talk show, and that was probably the first glimmer of hope, because the radio talk show gave us a platform to a whole new audience.
Have you had a fair number of submissions, or you just start?
A few, not as many as we'd like.
I think people have to feel comfortable with the whole thing. Tarek Mounib, is Mounib, that's right?
That's correct.
All right, he's an entrepreneur and involved in a groundbreaking documentary, an amazing project, giving away free trips to Egypt, free trips for everyone. Tell people, break it down, what are you going to pay for of their trips?
Everything.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Airfare?
Airfare, hotel.
Nice hotel?
Yeah. The first really powerful submission actually came as a result of that talk show. A woman by the name of Ellen.
Hi, my name is Ellen Decker. I grew up in the 60s. I protested the Vietnam War. I protested racism. I protested everything that was intolerant and not liberal. And I raised my two boys to be the same way. I guess I did a really, really good job. My older son is in Saudi Arabia. But when 9/11 happened, I just lost it. The point is, I'm so racist now, I can't stand myself. I even voted for Trump. I heard your broadcast, and I thought that the only reason I would do this would be to make my son Michael very happy that I was at least exploring the option of possibly accepting Muslims as people, I suppose he would say.
Hi. Finally get to meet you after all this time.
My name's
Hi.
Tarek. Hi, nice.
Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
Terry,
Tarek.
Glad to meet you.
Good to meet you. Great to be here.
Would you like to come in?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's a wonderful place you have here.
Well, thank you.
So it was a perfect match between someone who's fearful, feeling that they're racist, has these views about building walls and banning Muslims, and yet willing to go and try and have the courage to go. So we visited Ellen in Pennsylvania, and that's when we met Terry. And Terry was very similar in terms of a lot of this negativity. His sons described him as xenophobic, afraid of the world, never wanting to go outside of the United States, having a lot of suspicion. And yet, when I met him, he is also a man of heart. So this combination of having these fearful views and yet being open enough to embark on this adventure to see if this fear is justified, it made Ellen and Terry the perfect people to come.
When I heard the wall was going to go up, you know, my first reaction was good.
Right.
But it had nothing to do with all the immigrants coming in. It had to do with anybody who was bad who was going to come in.
The bad element coming in.
The bad element.
Sure.
And primarily, that's the only thing that does bother me, is the bad element.
It's interesting.
It is interesting.
Very interesting.
It's wonderful.
Well, I was born in Halifax in Canada. We were mainly the only Muslim family in my neighborhood. So at the school, I was the only Muslim, etc. And even back then, in the 70s, there was a suspicion of Islam. So it wasn't something I would be proud of, or even, you know, there were times I'd try to hide it. And at the same time, I was really influenced by Canadian society. So I really enjoyed Christmas, and, you know, my parents would get us a Christmas tree and give Christmas presents. So there was already this kind of split between my Islamic identity and my Christian identity.
Hello, my name is Jason Reynolds. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and I heard my friend Brian got picked to go to Egypt, and I would love to go with him as well. I'm a Christian, and I just want to spread Jesus' love into the Middle East. I baptize Muslims, and it would be such an honor to go, so please pick me for Egypt.
Hello, my name is Jenna Day. I am an actress, a singer, and a speaker from Louisville, Kentucky. But most importantly, I am a Christian, and I'm friends with Brian. And when I heard that Jason and Brian were going on this trip, I was like, guys, hook me up.
Every single person's soul in this room, there's a battle taking place. There's a battle right now. Guess what? Guess what? Just like God has a plan for your life, so does the devil. The devil has a plan for your life as well.
Does Jason remind you at all of how you used to be?
Absolutely. When I was in my teenage years, between 17 and 20s, I was quite the activist. So I really felt I knew what was right, and I loved the limelight. I loved public speaking. I loved telling you what you needed to do. And I felt I was kind-hearted, but I still was really driven.
Today we wish to explore what is meant by a religious need and what it is. Next, we will examine the extent to which we find the religious need manifest in our society, if at all. In fact, has the 20th century evolved beyond the need for a religion? Stop it, damn it.
And then I kind of crashed in my 20s because I thought, I don't know anything.
I currently live in Casa Grande, Arizona, which is just outside of Phoenix. And growing up, I grew up in the Bible Belt, so there wasn't a whole lot of diversity, mostly white people. That's why I'm applying for this, because I really have no idea. I don't understand. All I hear is what's on the news, and that they're anti-women, and it's a really incredibly sexist culture, and, you know, and what they talk about the Quran. I've never read the Quran. I've never seen it. I've never really known anybody who has. I don't have a lot of experience with anyone outside of really Christianity. I'm originally from Norfolk, Nebraska, and my parents are still there in the same house in Norfolk, and you know, they're still together, and my brother and sister both still live in Nebraska, and I left there, tried going to college the first time at 18 in Nebraska. It didn't work out so well, and then ended up joining the Marine Corps. You know, it takes a special kind of crazy to be a Marine, and I really fit in with that crowd, you know? And it was nice that you were just this really close-knit family. My mom, she thought that this was just some ploy to sell me into sex slavery, is what she thought at first. My brother told me I was going to be beheaded, and then he joked and said I was going to join the Muslim Brotherhood, you know, and so they're very concerned. My dad has also told me about, oh, I heard the other day in Egypt that they have these Americans, they're keeping them there in prisons as spies, and that's all I'm hearing from my family is, you know, what a big mistake this is.
How is it affecting you? Or is it affecting you?
It is and it isn't, because at a certain point I'm like, I know that like what my mom is thinking, and you know what, they're extreme views. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, if something happens, I just hope I die, so I don't have to hear about it for the next 30 years.
It's just very clear my limitations in terms of trying to accomplish things. That's been very clear, that I don't really have control, but I do have participation. So I do have a part to play, but I'm not kind of feeling that I'm the puppeteer controlling all of the strings.
Yeah, nice to see you. Hi, Tarek.
Hi.
Nice to see you. I'm so happy you're here.
Now I am.
Yeah, you are. How are you doing?
Well, I'm excited right now.
Oh, good. I'm gonna ask at the lobby where everyone is. Oh, wait, there's one of them.
Anyone want something to drink?
This is Mark from Louisville. When we visited the Trump rally, just talking to different people, there was this police officer patrolling, making sure everybody's safe. It was him. There you go. You got your police officer here, so. And this is Katie. Sorry, I didn't even notice you there hiding there. Sorry. Go one at a time. So Katie comes from Arizona.
Yes.
This is Ellen.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
And this is Mark. And Katie is also traveling alone. And there's Jason and Brian. Hey, hey, right on. And Brian, we also met at the Trump rally, right? So we had some interesting people. So Brian, Jason, meet Ellen.
Katie.
Katie. Okay.
Hi.
Mark.
Mark.
Nice to meet you, Mark. Nice to meet you. So this is the group minus one person who's going to join us actually in Egypt because
she's doing a Miss Kentucky. She's
a former Miss Kentucky.
So she's doing the she's hosting this pageant basically. So as soon as she gets finished with that, she's flying straight to Egypt with us.
Hi guys, I am so excited to join you in Cairo, Egypt really, really soon. But right now I'm backstage at the Miss Kentucky pageant and I've got some very special young ladies with me today. These are the Miss Kentucky contestants and they have a message for Egypt. Hi Cairo! See you guys soon.
Ready for Egypt?
Yeah.
Now, Saudi Arabia is what, straight across here?
Yeah, if you look across the sea, you'll see Saudi.
That's where our son Michael's teaching at.
Yeah, that's true. So when are you going to see him the next time?
Next year.
In about a year.
A year.
first time I saw the video, I had never met you, and like, this is all I saw. Hey guys, I want you to come with me on a magical trip to Egypt. And then in my head, I'm thinking, stranger danger, like they teach you at school.
Yeah, it was funny because I felt like a cult leader after that video, the way I am.
Yeah, that's why I was like.
I mean, I think that's beautiful, right? And I don't doubt your personal experience.
Right.
What I wonder is simply that this belief that no one else can have such a powerful experience outside of the parameters that you experience it in, right? Because some Buddhists or Muslims describe very powerful, mystical, deeply peaceful, transformative experiences. They are not.
I would love to meet one of them, but it says no man shall come to the Father except through his son Jesus.
Okay.
So I would never deny. It's like everybody believes in God. Everybody, you can have the Ferrari, but sometimes you're missing the engine to the Ferrari. That's kind of the way to describe it. Like the best way I can describe it is like this. People understand God and they're like, I believe in God. So many people say I believe in God. In the Bible, it even says demons even believe there's a God and shudder. But like, it's a difference between believing there's a God and living for him. So it's like the same thing. There's Christians who might possibly be in trouble. I can't be the one to go around and be like, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. That's not my job. I'm more spiritual than religious, but I just believe in Jesus, God, and love. That's it.
Okay, so each group will have their Egyptian person or couple and their American person or couple. We will start with Ellen and Terry. We've had the lucky fortune of this young man here. His name's Ahmed Hassan. So Ahmed sent us a video.
My name is Ahmed Hassan. I'm 30 years old, working as cinematographer. I live in Cairo. 3 weeks ago, I get a call from my friend Yasmin and Tarek, and start to talk to me about the idea of the films he want to shoot it here in Egypt. I felt like the idea is so strong. We need a lot of projects like that. That kind of the project, it can be a weapon against all the racist government. I want to be part of that project. And I'm sorry, I just wake up.
I'm excited.
Does he know I'm Jewish?
Or does that even, probably doesn't matter.
You know
well,
what?
It doesn't matter.
You know what?
But in the conversation we might have.
It is absolutely no problem for
Okay.
Ahmed.
Can't wait to tell Michael when we're back.
Oh, he'll be so excited.
Oh, he's gonna.
So, okay, this is Asma, and she's a journalist.
Oh, awesome.
And she's very into Cairo. She knows a lot, so I think it's going to be a really interesting
definitely.
matchup. Good. Okay, Brian. Okay, well, let's see if
My name is Salma. I am a dancer, an Egyptian, an animal lover, and I really do love my country. I really do appreciate it.
I know I'm eater.
tomorrow. So we have a really interesting character for you.
Hello from Egypt. I am Mohammed Rajab. I'm an Egyptian journalist.
Each day, I'm watching an American movie, so I know a lot about the life in USA.
Cool. Good. Yeah. Okay. So you and Jenna will be together. Okay. Okay, and you'll be paired up with. Dun 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 dun.
My name is Anna Hafiz. Welcome to Egypt.
Hello, I'm Regina Atif. I'm a lawyer. Welcome to Egypt. Hi, my name is Sarah Amr. I'm 20 years old. And welcome to Egypt.
Hello, my name is Rowan. I'm 17 years old and I'm a student. Welcome to Egypt. Hello, my name is Muhammad. I am 10 years old. Welcome to Egypt, and this is Nala.
Hello, my name is Ahmed Amr. I am graduated from Faculty of Computers and Information, Cairo University, and I'm working in IBM. Welcome to Egypt.
I am so excited about all of your pairings. I'm really excited about
so curious
this.
about how he connects.
Like, nah, it was genius.
So we worked with your Egyptian counterparts to think about what would be entertaining or interesting for you specifically.
It's like leaning to one side.
So each group is going to be separate, doing separate things. And then we're going to also still come together as the American group and share.
That song, yeah. Dragon, don't lose it.
Hello, hello. Say, hello, hello. Hello, hello. How are you?
And we might do
Hello?
certain activities
Hello?
together, like the pyramids or certain dinners, etc. We'll do all together as a larger
Hello,
group.
hello. How are you?
Let's take a selfie.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You gotta send it to me. Perfect.
Perfect.
Should I go gear up now?
Do I need like a bandana and like I gotta look hard and everything? Or do I look hard
He's
enough?
got lots of stuff.
Just dress me up like how a biker should dress up.
I'm not gonna wear full gear.
Anywhere I should put my feet at, man.
Do whatever you want, man. Just stay calm and trust me, don't worry. Pick your leg up.
All right.
And relax. Yeah, I think the horse might be upset. Son of a bitch. Pulling all his weight. The horse is mad. You got all these bastards in the back.
Any news from Brian?
You not read text, Jason.
I don't check my phone all the time.
Oh, you gotta get your mic. So what did everybody do yesterday? Like, we all had different activities. What did everybody do?
We went to Giza, visit a very nice family. I mean, a really good, great family. The old part of Giza.
Okay. The area was so awesome. It, you know, very narrow dirt way, and so and then, you know, a little boy would come out.
We felt like a Pied Piper.
Salam alaikum.
No, just joking, you know?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Should we take our shoes off?
No, it's
You
just
sure?
upstairs, yes. Salam alaikum.
She was wonderful. And she had a son who was Muslim and a daughter that was Christian. And she'd been through, her first husband was Christian, and they had a daughter, and He died, and then she married a Muslim man, and they had a son. And he wasn't as willing to meld together. And so she divorced him, and she taught her son Christianity and her daughter Muslim.
No.
Vice versa. And they're a wonderful family, wonderful family. He left her when Venice was 3. He left her.
Yeah. 3 years.
So he left her. And from then on,
3 years.
From then on, she worked a lot of jobs to take
years.
care of her children.
I am come here, this flat, without nothing. No door, no window, nothing. I make it everything.
Okay.
Awesome.
He's just welcome.
My son. Captain name?
Asim?
Yes,
Asim. Very handsome man. Very handsome.
Yes, and all the women they like him.
I can see why. I can see why. Very handsome man. Tell her, is there a way to tell her that she is my kind of woman?
Yeah.
We say that. She's my kind of woman. I like her that much. Up to give me a, this is called a hug. Beautiful.
In Arabic, شرفتيني ونورتيني. In English, you welcome, and I love you, your face.
I love your face too.
Yeah.
I love your face.
We're about halfway down the street, and here comes about 20 kids.
Yeah, they came in like the Pied Piper. As we walked, there were more and more.
More and more and more.
And we passed a candy vendor. So we bought the candy. We bought all the candy.
The whole store out.
Yeah. And tell them to share with all the children. And so, yeah, so that was awesome. The family was awesome. It's like,
since I've been here, it's completely different than what our news media tells us. I mean, it's completely different. All they tell us is the bad crap that's going on, and it's not that. They should deal more with the real people, not like with ISIS and ISO and Hamas and all that. The real people of Egypt, and it's completely different. My mind is actually turned over.
And then, they feel the same way because we spoke about the news media. And so I felt like they also had maybe a misconception of what America was like because all they have is their news and their TV and Hollywood and,
Yeah.
I used to work for an American company, working for Medicare and this stuff. So I used to work there for around 6 months.
Like your call center?
Yeah, something like this.
Yes, no, that's not American. Look, that is not American. It's the call centers.
Call centers
do not count because.
That's like
so you're like, I'm used to Americans. You're like, what do you mean?
Call center.
No.
Oh no! Yesterday was awesome. I love our family. Like, I did not anticipate loving them this much this early on. Like, I knew we'd get along because I can get along with anybody. We just hung out with them, and it was very chill, and it was very cool, and like, we went to a tapestry museum, which was neat, and then we ate this humongous feast of a meal. I just really, really am enjoying getting to know them. And it makes you open your eyes to the whole burqa thing too. Because like, when I first heard about the family, I didn't know what to expect. And I also didn't know how to act. When the mom walked in, I'm like, I'm gonna reach out to shake her hand, but I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I don't want to do anything to offend them, but at the same time, you can't love someone who you're walking on eggshells with.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. And so I just reached out and was like, hi. And I knew everything was gonna be okay, though, because, like, she just had such a warmth in her eyes.
So we really connected. They've got so much love in their heart. And like I told you, they're basically my family. Like, I got a mom and dad in Egypt now, so what I really appreciate, sometimes you see kids in America who are not as dedicated as they probably should be. And you've got this little kid who's so dedicated, and then his dad who's so dedicated, and their dedication, it inspires me to be even stronger, a prayer warrior for Jesus. And I've told them that it's just really cool. And then they allowed me to pray for the meal and bless the meal. We always hold hands.
Do you want to hold hands?
Huh? We always hold hands. If everybody bow their heads. Father, I just want to thank you again for this food, and thank you for these blessings. Thank you for our new friends. And thank you for allowing us to pray for you a second time, God. And we just love you, and we love our friends. Bless us and protect us on this trip. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Wow. That's great. Thank you. Katie, how is it with Esma?
Oh, it's great. We have a lot in common. Like, I really like her. She's more reserved, like I am, but she feels so nervous about her English, but it's still okay. We went to Asma's house, and her house was so nice. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Because I think when you see the outsides of some of these buildings, you think, oh, it doesn't look like it'd be very nice, and it really is.
And you had some maybe preconceptions on how you felt coming in here, and
Men are just men the world round. That's what I'm finding, is that they're just scum everywhere. So, like, just talking with her, I was like, oh, we have that too in the United States.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So Brian, you look wide awake. How are you getting along with Selma?
Oh, we have a lot in common, so it's pretty easy to get along with someone when you got a lot in common. You know, she's kind of crazy, I'm kind of crazy a little bit. We're just out to have fun as well.
You have an Egyptian sister.
I know, right? We're so in common, it's almost weird. It's like a twin almost, you know? Like, divorced around the same time. I was married for 3 years like me. She comes from like a cool family. My family is kind of the same way. We also talked about like how she was part of the revolution, what she was doing out in the square. So then we had some common things like that. She's like, oh, I got shot at. And I'm like, oh, really? Me too.
Hello. Come in, come in, come in.
I met a lot of her friends. Her friends are like from all over, from Venezuela, from Finland. Pretty soon we had like 15, 20 people there. some good food and good conversations. And everybody was sitting there kind of jamming out to it, drinking and having a good time. At one point, one of the women pointed out my arm, and she was like, "Oh, well, what's that tattoo right here?" She thought it was like a date on my arm, like John 15, and I was explaining to her there was a Bible verse.
But there was a reason for that.
It's John 15:13. It's like, there's no greater love than to lay your life down for your brother. And it like had meaning to me since I was in the military.
It had like meaning to me, you know? I thought it was a pretty badass quote. Or a pretty badass verse.
So then it started kind of getting tense just a little bit because she's from Palestinian. She's a Palestinian. I can feel her. She doesn't like anything war. She doesn't like what's been going on. And she's like, you guys go to all these different countries and you're involved in everywhere. Like, what are you fighting for? Are you truly fighting for America?
There's no war there. What you were serving in Kuwait?
I don't think people in the United States want war, and I think that's why they voted for Trump. No,
Yes.
to be honest.
They don't want war. Actually, yes. You know what? You want to know what's my opinion about Trump?
Go ahead, yeah.
He's the most fucked up guy in the world. I was happy that he get elected. You know why?
Why?
What is her name? Hillary Clinton, the one she was supposed to win? Yeah. She's a snake.
She is a snake.
He's a fucking snake. You know what? He's at least obvious. I'm fucked up guy. I'm gonna fuck you all. But she's like, I love you. Like, you know, this was for me. That was very obvious for the whole world to see.
What do you think about Trump?
I see Trump as a great man. He is a man of achievements. Yes. After 2 months only, he brought to America $450 billion and thousands of jobs.
Show me where they're creating jobs and making it better.
Mark, you have a gift from the sky. A president who brings $450 billion from only one country to make jobs for you. Another thing about your president, he is totally against the terrorism. His strategy is against brotherhood.
But he's trying to put the travel ban on places where there's not even no terrorists.
So you see terrorism as an argument, fake
that's
argument.
not no argument.
It's a fake argument.
That's a fake argument?
Yeah. Do we have terrorism in the world or not?
Yes, but some of those countries that have travel bans.
Answer me directly, Mark, please.
What are you talking about?
Do we have terrorism in the world or not?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so your president is against ISIS, against Qatar, which finance and fund the terrorism in Middle East.
He's not against Qatar.
No,
he
is against Qatar. He is against Qatar because, excuse me, listen, he is against Qatar because he is with Egypt, with Saudi Arabia.
No.
يا عم مش خناقة.
He didn't have nothing back, so he got kind of upset. I didn't get upset. But like I said, I don't talk politics with anyone because most people, they get kind of worked up and get excited, and he got kind of loud, and I was just letting him laugh. He was just getting upset because I was, and I was just laughing at him. So at the end, we shook hands, laughed, and played another game back, gambling, then we left because I think it was about 12, close to 12 or something like that. So it was a good day. We had a good conversation, laughed, joked. We all went to the Cairo Museum. It was pretty interesting. It's not one thing that I enjoyed about it. It was the museum as a whole. I enjoyed the whole thing.
What's your name, sir? Mark. What about you, sir?
Very.
We also went to the museum. We had a guide who wasn't quite as awesome as the museum.
Take a picture here, then we go down and run.
Oh, he was
We paid
so
him to
good.
leave early, the guide. Other than that, the museum's great.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I haven't been to a museum since I was like, I can't remember the last time I went to a museum.
I'm a big nerd, so I was fascinated by everything I saw there. We got to see mummies. Like, I'd never seen that before. I'd seen sarcophaguses, but I'd never seen the actual mummies.
Dragged by horse.
It was cool, I guess, just to walk around and you saw the pharaoh that they said possibly could be the same pharaoh that was with Moses in the Bible, which is pretty crazy.
The thing that stood out the most to me is how small people were back then. It was like a lot of tiny people. And the little chariots were so small and stuff. There's like 2 horses pulled it, and I was like, the horses must have been small. It's like everything was tiny back then.
So that was pretty awesome. And the most exciting thing that happened for me yesterday was that Ahmed wanted to take us to a family, primarily to meet their son, who is the tallest basketball player in Egypt.
He's 13 years old. He's about 6'5" to 6'7".
But what really ended up happening, the mother came in. And she had on
the full
burqa. Yeah.
I'm so happy to see you.
Me too. And the two of us started to have the most amazing discussion about children and what to teach them. And she just was so wonderful. There weren't any words for
Their
it.
parents, some parents find that I'm wearing my Islamic way. They think that I can't understand the ideas about teaching or how to solve the problems of the children. And then they found that I wanted to introduce to you something good. I want your children to be good character.
And they're surprised?
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, "Thank you for filling my heart with joy. My father always oh, that was me. Yeah. She said, Mrs. Ellen, I can't find words to explain how I am so happy to have a new friend like you. And we sit together a little time, but I feel as we know each other for a very long time." Am I your first Jewish friend?
Yeah. Yes.
Then are we so nice?
Yes.
And so are you.
I'm proud to have a friend like you.
Aw.
Really.
This water's warm. This is warm. It's warm. It's warm. Yeah, it's warm. Act like your dad.
Okay, we will go to Mom's house.
So did you grow up there, or yeah, that's why I just want to know if you grew up in that house that your mom lives in now.
Yes, I grew up there, me and my brother and sisters. And I leave my mom's house when I got married. It's called kharouf. Yes, you can eat it.
It took forever to get there because there's basically only one street in, and when you drive down there, there's just all the cars on both sides are just bumper to bumper to bumper, and then when you have two cars coming down the same way, there's not enough room, so somebody has to back all the way back.
And how is it with the communication
It's getting better. I'm a big gesturer and I make noises but she feels so nervous about her English. It's interesting because sometimes we aren't exactly having the same conversation, but it's still okay. Like, I told her not to worry about it, you know? I'm like, we'll get there.
Like, it's just a lot because there are so many people, so much going on, so much noise, just a lot.
You know, I think a lot of people think that there are going to be so much that's not the same, and I just felt there was so much that was the same. Like, her mom she's just a sweetheart. Like, she immediately hugged me, and it made me think about my mom the same way she was. Even going up on the roof where they had chickens and ducks and goats. That's what I had back in Nebraska growing up, is we raised goats. And, you know, I had a pet sheep when I was a kid, and it was just so similar. And talking with her mom, some of the things she was saying, like, I could tell that she was immediately asking about, you know, my kids and my experience with kids, because she wanted Asma to have kids. And I was like, oh, that's just the way moms are. They want grandkids. And she knew without anyone translating. I immediately said, you know, is she trying to get you to have grandkids? You know, she knew what that meant and what we were talking about. And it was just so much. Maybe it's because she made me think so much of my mom, that there was so much trust. Even though we just met, we don't speak the same language. I just felt like I could really, really open up for the first time in a long time.
Just covered in chocolate or cheese. Yeah. I think it's just boys. They just eat and eat.
No, I mean, they're both very, very wonderful and beautiful and people. But my youngest son, it's just a whole different story. He's special needs, and it's a mess, so it's not easy to talk about. So, when I talk about my second husband, he hurt my baby when Rocky was 2 months. It was my first week of college, and I came back from class, and he had a bump on his head. It turned out to be a skull fracture. He has permanent weakness on his left side, and it's just so hard. When I first took him to the hospital, I had no idea that it was serious. Like, I didn't know someone could do that. And so they life-flighted him to Duke, the hospital there in North Carolina. It's a major children's hospital, like one of the best in the country. And like, I couldn't go with him. I had to drive up separately. And then when I got there, they wouldn't let me in to see him because they didn't know, you know, I lost him for a year. I had to fight social services to get my son back. It's just, like, every day I'm still worried that everything will be taken from me.
ربنا يطرح لك فيهم البركه، ما تعلميش، يمكن ده يبقى حاجه كبيره قوي ان شاء الله ان شاء الله، لان طفل ما عملش حاجه وحشه.
It's not your fault.
I know.
You try to turn these bad things in your son to beautiful things. You can do that because you are a beautiful woman. We all can say that. You can change anything sad. You make we all happy at this house when you come. You come from different country, but we are happy now because you come and come to us. And I think mom is the first time talk with someone come another country from America. Now she wanted to trade with different people come from America because she loves you. So it's a very beautiful thing. You can change anything to beautiful.
Thank you. It was very nice being here. I'm so glad you let me in your home.
ما تزعليش يا بنتي، يا رب فك كربها، يا رب فك كربها، عوضها خير يا رب، يا رب يبقى حاجة كبيرة في الدنيا يا رب، يا رب تشوفيه حاجة كبيرة بإذن الله، عشان هو طفل مالوش ذنب.
4-5.
4-5. So, that's 5, yeah?
Okay, that's the American way.
Yeah.
Right. I'll teach you the Egyptian way after.
Okay.
But not now.
Okay, so.
By the way, the American, they change everything in the world, like them culture. They play the football by them hands.
How's
you
it
know?
going?
Good.
How you doing?
Good. Yeah.
Fancy meeting you here. You want to meet a friend of mine?
Hi.
Oh my God!
How did you do that?
Oh my God! Oh,
He said he was in Tbilisi.
He's Michael.
Yeah, hi.
How did you do
Oh
that?
my God!
That's Michael.
That's your son.
That's Michael, who you're talking to.
Hi.
This is
Nice
Ahmed.
to meet you too. How are you?
Great, how are you?
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
Nice to meet you.
You
We
did
was
this?
talking before
You
yesterday.
did this?
What a surprise.
Oh my God! This is bad. Oh my God!
Surprise.
You have no idea.
That's a good surprise. That's so
This
good.
is just
Welcome.
no idea.
Come on, man.
No idea. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like, oh, this is not real. Oh my God. This is so wonderful that you did this for me. Oh, so surprised, honey. Did you plan this and then you called?
No, we contacted me in April.
No.
When I watched your video, I was really touched.
Oh my
The
God.
moment I watched your video, I knew I wanted this to happen.
Oh my God. I'm just, it's like, I can't imagine you did that.
When she told me about this trip, I couldn't believe it. And we've gotten in so many arguments about places that I travel to and about her fears about safety and terrorism, and to see her break out of that is incredible. She told me what a wonderful time she's having, and I talked to my dad, and then he said something that I thought was like I'd never hear from him, like because he is a little bit xenophobic. That he said, "Oh yeah, everywhere you go, people are just nice." I couldn't believe it was my dad, you know, same person. So I'm really excited to see them and see how they've changed, and to kind of be here while that change is happening is really exciting. Wow.
Oh, look at Grandma. Wow, man, that's big. Cheers. Y'all see the monkey? Hold on, I gotta take a picture.
It's very old.
No, just leave it at the back.
Okay.
That's it.
But if these people that you love so much never became a Christian or never saw the light, would you feel that they were going to miss something in the afterlife? I guess
Well, all we can hope for, This is all we can do. We can worry about just our mission, which is to love, to share the word, to love people, and to pray that God will open their heart.
Yeah. I was once asked in college, it was a really interesting question, and it was a Christian friend who asked me this. He said, if you knew that you could go to heaven and it was paradise, beautiful, gorgeous, no more pain, no more sorrow, all this, but you knew Jesus wasn't gonna be there, would you still wanna go? And that's like that hit me because, gosh. My answer now is no. Thank you. But I don't want to go if Jesus isn't there. I don't want to go if he's not there. I know who he is, and I know what he did for me. And I just think I'm just so floored every day by that kind of love. And so, if I want to share that with people, it's because this is how I feel all the time. I cry every day, I really do. I used to not, and then Jesus melted my heart, and I was like, oh my gosh, butterflies and love and everything. But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about being misunderstood. I'm just worried about pleasing my Father because I love him. And I love that I just get the honor of being called a child of God. And I want everyone to know they're a child of God.
Thank you. Well, I didn't mean to make you cry.
Oh, that's okay. I cry every day. I really do.
I appreciate
those are
that
not
you shared
bad
that.
tears.
No, they're not bad
Those aren't bad
tears.
tears.
Yeah.
Those are tears of joy.
And I think I mean it's very beautiful to hear your sharing, and it touches my heart, and I think it's wonderful, and I think as human beings we can love each other independent of each other's beliefs, and this group here is very inspiring to me. This and the Egyptians together, because we are so diverse and we can respect and love each other.
Oh, yeah. Our voices all went, oh.
مفيش حاجة مبهرة. انت عارف ايه المقصود بيه اصلا الهزار دوت؟ انه يقول لك واحدة مثلا مدرسة ونقعد نلف على حواليها ونطبل وبتاع لحد ما يخرج منها. الكلام ده طبعا
تحديد جن
او تحديد بيعتبروا طبعا الكلام ده قمة
فهل هو
الشعوذة
ده كده
والدجل.
ولا امال ايه ده؟ فولكلور مثلا؟ مديح وذكر؟
Thank you so much for accommodating us. It's really beautiful. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to pass it over to you. Please tell us a little bit about what's happening, and we're ready.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Zar means Zar. Zar actually is a healing ritual. And it's related to music. So this is Zar. It's one of the old ritual that you can find in Egypt. The roots from Zar is coming from East Africa. So there is action, there is interaction especially, there is music, there is everything. So you are welcome, and let's have fun.
يا مشرحاني يا أمان يا أبو الروايح يا أمان
ما ارتحناش كده اول ما دخلنا في المكان ده، مش عارف ليه.
لا وبعدين نقطة مديح الرسول ومدح الرسول عن طريق الدف ده مش من الهدي. والدفوف على فكرة الدف آلة شرعية.
يعني
الحاجة الوحيدة
حتى لو
الشرعية
مش شرعية،
يعني
أنا مش بتكلم في الشرعية دلوقتي، أنا بتكلم
مش
في
مشكلة في
حتة إيه؟
الآلة، أنا بتكلم على
إن هم لو
الفحوى
عاملين مكان
المحتوى نفسه.
أغاني بس خاص بأغاني بس، ما يربطوهوش بحاجة لا مديح ولا علاقة بالدين ولا الكلام ده كله.
عليكم السلام.
جيت هنا قبل كده؟
لا هي المشكلة في اللي بيتقال ده. وبعدين ليه لو حضرها النبي ايه اللي هيحضر؟ خلاص التراث
بيقولوا ان النبي هيحضر معانا الليله اللي جوه في كذا كلمه في كذا حاجات بتتقال
الكلام ده كله شرك.
شكرا.
حرام.
They called upon him in spirit. So the family feels that's an Islamic.
Oh, okay.
That,
That's
because
why
there's,
they left.
and that's why they left. So I went out and I spoke to them.
Yeah.
And they said,
Oh, yeah, they're cool.
Right,
They're
they're
just-
cool. And they said, you know what? This isn't right. We don't believe that.
Yeah.
But we're here. I'm here for Jason and Jenna, and we're going to be here for the rest of the week, even if we have differences. And I feel they're my responsibility, etc.
good
We'll
for
just. But that's why they left, right? So just so you understand.
I'm really cool with hanging out with them though.
All right, we're going out there to hang with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hang with them.
Hi. So she wants to tell you a little bit about what this is, just so you know.
Okay.
If you're comfortable with that.
I'm real cautious about like what we're getting into, like, and what people are praising and talking about and doing things like that.
It's praising for patrons that were known for giving and taking care of people around them. And the songs in the beginning is actually to form protection, because we're calling on the saints of Islam, which the ones that we know for sure, you know, they're good, you know, they've served, kind of. So you call on their protection. It's a different, yeah, but.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's okay. Thank you.
Okay. I got it.
Thank you so much.
Clear.
Yeah, it's
I'm
clear.
out of here.
I wish they would have told us more what it was before.
Yeah.
Until after they explained what it was afterwards, instead of before.
and they make it seem like it's related to our religion. It's just
And they make it seem fun and cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but
so they
that's
make you
not-
want to be, and then you're like, they had us dancing.
yeah, and that's not supposed to happen.
The thing is, this isn't anything different than what happens in America. You will meet satanic worshipers all the time. It's no different. It's just something we just not part of. I mean, next time I'm gonna have to ask and do a little more research before I get involved in anything else here.
God, I just ask for supernatural protection right now in Jesus' name, for everyone listening and for and even for the performers, God, because there's some serious stuff and serious ramifications with saying some of the things that they're saying, God. So I just ask that you, Jesus, will intervene and that you will enter their hearts and that you will just awaken them to the truth of who you are, God, that we are so free in you, God.
If your family had actually embraced the music and embraced the ideology of what it represented that they were doing, how would you have connected them embracing something that...
Well, I would have respected them. I probably would have, like, maybe just stayed in, but not gotten up and danced. Like, after I found out kind of, like, a little bit more about it, probably wouldn't have danced. I probably would have just been, like, a very quiet observer. But, you know.
I just have a question. Why were you even Googling it anyway?
Something told me my spirit, as soon as
something told you in your spirit,
to go search,
on
what is
Google.
it? to search what it was. And so the first thing I did, I looked it up, and all I looked at was Christians and Muslims both like have similarities to being against this situation, and then it talks even deeper
and you
about.
went about something on the internet.
Well, I looked up multiple things. It wasn't just like
I
one
just saying.
page. And I'm just saying, for me, it's just you know yourself.
I mean, it just feels like we on a game show, and we got a bunch of contestants trying to be the best actors, the best this, the best that.
We have 3 different kinds of civilizations.
Here's the funny thing. I prayed before you came here. Tell them when I prayed. I was praying, God, send somebody to sit next to us on this bus who wants to hear about your son, Jesus Christ.
He really did.
There were several elements that helped the ancient Egyptians to build their civilization.
We never thought we'd see this. Ever.
We're not going inside?
No.
Experiencing it right now.
I guarantee you, ancient Egyptians used to go up there all the way up
They
the
have all
top.
the right to do whatever they want.
May as well.
Don't you dare.
She's just like, she's being a party pooper, won't come up here.
We are in a pyramid right now as we speak.
I feel a lot of the people have forgotten why we're here.
Okay.
They like to party. I like to tell them, shut the fuck up.
Okay.
You know, we're trying to hear something. You got people in the back screwing around, talking, chattering. And you got to show you some respect and focus on why we're here.
There were a lot of times when we were on the bus and maybe we were going to some place fun. You know, it's cute for maybe 10 minutes. It's okay for 10 minutes. It's just not cute for a lot of times.
Could you give like more like a specific day or anything? Because like
concrete example,
like
what
a concrete
bothered you?
example.
Yeah.
That,
One
like
day they was acting like clowns.
The day they were acting like clowns, was that on the bus?
Yeah, let's say clowns.
On the bus?
Talking around this circle talk,
Was that on the bus?
Just be completely
On the
honest.
bus?
This is a group, this is family, right?
The whole point of this trip is to not only get to know each other, but to get to know the Egyptians.
Exactly.
And I mean, I think that we bond differently because everyone's different. And it is cool, though, to know that in order to add peace to the world, we don't have to go to Egypt and try to be peaceful with them. I mean, we can.
Yeah.
But like, if we can get peaceful with our neighbors in the States.
Step one?
Step one?
Yes.
How about like, everybody put their hand in.
I don't want no nose kisses.
Okay, here.
Is that good?
Yeah, Egypt on 3. 1, 2, 3. Egypt! Everything's cool.
So our journey is coming to an end, and it's just been an amazing, amazing trip. Thank you all, and I really hope we maintain this loving connections, if not physically, at least in our hearts, and one day we will come together. Thank you. Thank you. It's for all of us. Thank you. There we go. coordinator. Should I turn right? I would.
Trying to switch Regal's
What would I do now?
left in the takeoff, but he's going to put everything on
straight?
the line for his team.
Oh my.
It's so good to see you. Yeah, you too. What a surprise.
Hello, hello.
Do you think the trip changed you in any way, or it was just kind of a nice, fun interlude, or?
I took a lot out of the trip. It really opened my mind up to the Egyptian culture.
Well, come on in.
Thank
Make
you.
yourself at home.
Okay.
I wanted to get you something that was uniquely American.
Okay.
And something that's very iconic American. So hold on just a second, and I'm going to grab it for you.
Oh my God.
So now, yeah,
Wow.
now you're a real cowboy.
Okay, so which way?
So it's this way.
And what was it like when you heard that Katie was going to go to Egypt?
What's that?
What was it like? What did you think when you found
Katie
out?
went to Egypt?
Yeah.
I asked her if she's headed for North Korea next.
Right. Okay. So.
Yeah, no, he did insist on the will, though. So.
Oh right. Yeah, you were saying. Yeah. Okay.
You showed a lot of love and kindness to me, and you, complete stranger, didn't even know me. That was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. I was like, wow, that's like, he doesn't even know me, and he's like taking me out on this trip. It's really cool.
Mistletoe grows on a lot of trees here, and what we do is we go out and we shoot it.
Shoot it?
Shoot it out of the tree. But would you like to grab a gun and...
Yeah, sure.
Can you hold this?
What's cool about your dad is that he's a very keen observer of character, and then he'll have like he'll point to a guy and then he'll just say one sentence, and he summarizes the whole personality in this one sentence in this really funny way.
Have you ever fired a gun before?
Not in a long time.
Okay, well, the most important lesson that you need to know is never point it at something.
Sure.
Unless you're prepared to kill that something.
Sure.
What did you think about him going
Oh,
to
I thought
Egypt?
it was wonderful. I was really happy that he was getting that opportunity, and I was like praying safety over him because, you know, you hear so much negative back here, and I was like, hope you make it back, you know, type thing.
Where it all started for us.
Yeah.
Our journey.
So have you ever considered asking Jesus Christ into your heart and like to repent? I mean, I'm asking, do you feel any conviction towards that?
Are you good with me?
I'm cool.
Do you trust me?
I'm cool. I'll put it this way.
Yeah, there you go.
And I always remembered the conversations between you and Jason, the heated, a little heated exchange, like, hey, Jason, you think I'm going to hell? As a Christian, from me to you, who believes in Jesus, no, I don't think you're going to hell.
And I don't think nobody came from that trip and not taking nothing with them, part of it. I think just along with the people that, you know, we made contact with, come in contact with, and in Egypt, all the people and stuff like it, I'm quite sure they was influenced by, you know, most of us.
Absolutely.
So.
My mom actually got that after me. I was surprised at the depth of the intimacy that I felt with. I knew I was going to get along with them. Like I mean, I can get along with lots of people. Like I'm not going to sit there and, you know, you need to believe this, and I'm not going to be forceful and, you know, weird. I'm going to be normal and nice. But yeah, I mean, although I wasn't surprised we got along, I was surprised how well we connected and that we're still, you know, I mean, I'm going back to Egypt one day.
Hi, Tarek. This is Ellen. I can hardly speak the words, but Terry passed away suddenly. He was at home. Well, he was out on the patio. I didn't teach that day. And he did some yard work. He did something, you could tell. When I came upstairs, he had showered and sitting on his, favorite rocking chair, and I thought he was taking a nap. So then the rest is pretty blurry. I couldn't wake him. And fortunately, one of the neighbors heard me yelling at him and came over and we did CPR. And then, of course, the rest is like the people and too many things to think about. Mostly, I tried to figure out what the heck happened. Mostly, it was that.
Adios.
Wow.
That's cool.
There was like this light over him. He just had changed. He was so light in his heart. He was happy. He wanted to be with people. He wanted to talk to people. Not something that Terry always did. That wasn't what I would say there, that's Terry. He's been happy since the day we got back. He has not been the same person. That's the tragedy. We weren't finished, or Terry wasn't finished, because he was happier than I've ever known him to be.
The trip changed Terry so much that Ellen and Michael decided to spread his ashes in the sands of Egypt.
I just feel like I can cry with you, and you know it's okay.
Of course. Yeah.
You're so...
No, I'm honored. I feel you trust me when you
I do
cry,
trust you.
and I feel really
I do
grateful.
trust you. I used to think you were so stoic.
Yeah, maybe.
When I first met you, I
Okay.
thought you were so stoic. But then I saw you dance, and I saw you smile, and I saw you smile big, and you were happy. So you can't be stoic and so happy.
Michael.
Hey. How's it
Yeah.
going? Thank you so much for
Yeah.
organizing all this.
Hey, come on. My pleasure. It's nice to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking good.
Like, I'm really glad I can do this for my dad. This place was really special to him, and the experience, he loved it, and I think this is where he would want to be. He hadn't stopped talking about it since he got back, and so I know this is what he would have wanted. This is what we brought him, and it's a lunchbox.
Wow.
But it's, went to the X-ray machine so that...
It was fine.
Yeah, we're gonna transfer him from this plastic bag into something more dignified, as you know. You got it? Oh, there you go. You doing okay?
Thanks.
Okay. I want to give you a hug, but I think I need to wash my hands first.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, is it your dad? Michael?
What?
Is it your dad?
On my hands?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
You don't need to wash your hands.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I forgot all this time to ask you if you were okay.
I'm okay.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
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 I am here with our friends And in a few minutes, I will go with them, ride a camel to a spot in the desert where I will say goodbye to you. We will set you free to live forever in our hearts. I will miss you from the moment I awake without the smell of the freshly brewed coffee that you always had for me. And I will miss you when I go to sleep and you always kiss me on the forehead because you thought I was already sleeping. I don't want to say goodbye.
The first night we stopped and ate, got off the bus, a gentleman came, walked across the street. I didn't know him, he didn't know me, and we started talking. He asked, where you from? And I told him, the USA, and oh, great, good. So it kind of softened me up there. So, these people aren't as bad as the news say that they're bad.
Plastic? Can I keep it?
Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more.
My name's Tom Appledorn. Katie Appledorn's my daughter. And she just took a trip to Egypt, and he wanted to know, I guess, what I thought about it. And I know she likes to travel, so I was all for her going. And I think she had a great time. She enjoyed it. And we talked about it quite a bit since she's been back or whatever. And I learned a few things. No, that's hard to believe, but I did. So, is that good?
Like, when I decided I was going to bake, I made samosas.
Oh, right.
And Rocky loved them. They were beef samosas, and Rocky was like, comes out, and he's like, "You're a really good cook, Mom. Mom's a really good, you're a really good cook." And so, he liked it.
Trump, they give us your country $457 billion and 127 billion is going to create new jobs.
Now, hey, flip, white.
All right, so we're about to prank them real soon.
Holy shit! Ah, fuck. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Are you guys joking or is it serious? Oh my God! Oh, what the hell? Oh! Oh! Oh!
moderating our Q&A this evening with Tarek. As you take a moment just to reflect on the film and enter your questions on YouTube chat or Zoom chat, I will take this opportunity to recap my comments from earlier on in this event. I am incredibly privileged to be joining you today from the beautiful, ancestral, and unceded lands of the Coast Salish peoples. I am grateful to be a settler here and commit to listening and learning, especially when it comes to truth and reconciliation. I also commit to this learning journey with my children so they too understand the responsibility of being a settler and understand and respect the ancestors of this land. Once again, welcome to the One World Festival's online screening of Free Trip to Egypt, presented by the Cowichan Intercultural Society, who is celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. And so congratulations to this society for all that you do, all that you have done, and all that you will do for our settlers and promoting diversity and inclusion in Cowichan Valley. I'm also very proud to be a treasurer of the Cowichan Intercultural Society, and so that's how you get me here today. In this moment, we have a unique opportunity to connect with the creator and producer of the Free Trip to Egypt. I'm profoundly moved at this moment. I'm watching this film now a few times, and I learn something new every time I watch it. Thank you, Tarek, for joining us today all the way from Switzerland. I know it's very, very, very early there, and I don't know if you're an early person. I am not, so thank you for joining us. You know, we're going to spend the next 30 or 40 minutes together taking questions from the audience. They'll be coming through from YouTube chat and Zoom chat. But as those questions are coming in, just some comments from just myself around how I'm feeling in this moment. I'm profoundly moved by your kindness and grace. It was palpable through the film, and have watched it now a few times. Even in those moments, for example, at the Trump rally, and the whole scope of that, I can't really wrap my mind around it. But as you're faced with that, I just can't believe the amount of kindness and grace you had in those moments. And then also your soft and direct probing of Jason throughout the film as well. So I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in those moments that aren't in the film as well. So right now I'm feeling a lot of hope, a tremendous amount of hope. And I thank you for that. So Tarek, as we get into this evening, I think about the kindness, the grace, the rose-colored glasses that are spoken about in the film as well. Where does that come from, Tarek? Like, is that something you learned in your childhood? Is that from your family, your parents? I'm just so deeply curious around where that comes from.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to be here. I actually flew to Canada last week, so it's not so bad in terms of time zones. I'm in Ottawa right now. But in terms of rose-colored glasses, actually that's interesting because that was the whole point of the film, was to see how colored my glasses are. I set out on this quest to see if humanity has gotten to the brink of such polarization that there was no hope for reconciliation, or if there could be hope. That was kind of my question, setting off on this, and throughout. Towards the beginning, when, I mean, you saw in the film when we announced it and we started looking for people, the hate on social media, just the fact that we're inviting people, took me by real surprise, and I was really shocked. But this was the real gift. I'm really pleased that you felt hope, because that was the whole lesson of these last few years, was that there is hope, that speaking to people on a human level, one conversation at a time, it really nourished me. It gave me hope. People think it's really funny when I say I renewed my sense of hope at the Trump rally. That was when I realized, because what I realized is there are bigoted people in the world, and you have to take a strong stance against those people. But we know the cliche, but it's so true. Most people aren't, and the difficult thing is that sometimes the people who aren't bigoted might use bigoted language simply out of fear for their family, concern, ignorance, call it what you mean, but they're actually good people. So it takes a lot of listening and discernment to really find out who's in front of you. And I think listening to the people, you actually, a connection and a magic can occur that you didn't know was there. So that was the real gift for me on this journey.
And does this gift keep giving?
Oh,
because we know
yeah,
that's not a moment in time, you know, human emotions, feelings.
Right. And the hope isn't always 100% either, right? So it's a fluid process. But the other thing is that what's really fascinating is, look, I'm all of a sudden in this event, I'm discovering this beautiful organization doing great work. And this has also been the gift of the film, is that people say, oh, have you heard about this group and this, and these guys are doing this for reconciliation, these ones, and right. So yes, it's all of a sudden I find out, you know, I'm not alone in this desire to see good in the world, that there's billions of us out there, and that renews the hope and that feeds itself. But of course, I mean, I listen to the news as well, right? So it's all a constant battle between fear and hope, right?
And I think that just speaks to activism, that speaks to the fundamental desire that humans have just to connect, and that's what this film shows as well. I think there's different elements of connection throughout the film. Like, I really believe that Ellen and Terry,
yes,
you know, they were ready for it. They were ready. Where Brian was like, I don't know, I kind of want to, you know, see Egypt because I traveled the world a little bit. I think there was like different points of view throughout, which is really also what made it beautiful. And so I have so many questions, and I can spend the whole time just asking questions and picking your brain about that, because you aren't alone. We all want to make a difference. And I think about my children and talking about this and how people might not be as open as we are. And so, but we have an audience here. Somebody just sneezed as well. So just to set the stage for the rest of the evening together, we will ask that you have your mics muted and your video turned off. That way you get to see Tarek and our special guest for this evening. So what I'll do here is perhaps just start with the chat. One of our first questions that comes from our society, actually from the Cowichan Intercultural Society, is, when you came up with this idea, how do you even start matching? Because I don't think there's an app out there to match Egyptian families and American families and friends. Like, I don't think that really exists. I know there's lots of apps, but how do you even take on something of this scope?
Right. Well, okay. So there was obviously tons of challenges, but the matching specifically was probably the one thing that gave me the most delight. It let my childlike creativity come up, because it was also, imagine what would happen if we put this person with that person, right? I remember when we interviewed the Egyptian family, the woman who was covering her face, her name's Naveen. It was so fascinating to me, because when I heard what she was saying, it was after we had interviewed Jason and Jenna, the Christian preacher and the former Miss Kentucky. And it was fascinating because Naveen, to me, sounded exactly like Jenna.
right? And even though externally they look completely different, but she was talking about love of God and her religion is peace, and she wants to spread her religion. And then it's like, what would happen if we put these two people together? What would happen if we put Brian with this beautiful Egyptian dancer, right? It was just fun. What would happen? Ellen, one of the things she said, I'm so afraid of Muslim men, right? So that's why I thought, well, what would happen if we put her with a young, actually, Ahmed is a young Egyptian revolutionary, right? So what would happen there? So it was this childlike curiosity made me want to just see what was going to happen.
Wow, that's amazing. And do you, like in the film, it shows the month afterwards and reconnecting with the families, and of course, sadness around Terry's passing, and real intimate moment in the desert with his ashes. Like, that's incredible, you know, to be invited in that moment and to go back to Egypt. I think that speaks volumes. I think there's some lessons there. But now that you're post a couple of years of that film, do you still keep in contact with those folks, whether they're Egyptian or American?
Yeah, yes, yeah. I mean, it's to be honest, it's off and on. Sometimes more, sometimes less. The irony is, Jason just contacted me 1 week ago, telling me, dude, I'm in Egypt. So he's actually back in Egypt, and he's having a very interesting time. He's visited the family, I think, 2-3 times since he's gone back to Egypt, right? So it's had a profound impact on him. And yeah, I mean, Jason has, the whole dynamic with Jason has been very fascinating. And it's interesting because a lot of people say, Jason, I don't think he changed, right? I get that comment a lot. And I'm like, no, you guys are completely wrong. Did he change his belief system? No. Did he change his zealousness to spread the love of Jesus to the world? No, he didn't change at all in that. But what's changed about him is he would call me up almost like every day after the Egypt trip and say, dude, you changed my life. You know, I used to be afraid of Muslims and now I love them. And you'll be so proud of me. I'm taking our church group to the local mosque, and we met the imam and and all this stuff. And I'm just loving on those Muslims and stuff. So he's a character for sure, but you know, he's a lovable character.
Well, you know, I think folks probably were more interested in seeing and hearing his journey because of how strongly he felt and does feel. And I like how you said earlier, if you take away what a person looks like and how they speak, but when they're speaking about their love and their faith, it's ultimately the same, regardless of what the person looks like and who they believe in or who they pray to. Which is another beautiful part of this film as well. Grace wants to know, is there anything that you would have done differently if you were to do it all over again?
That's a hard one. I don't think so. Because the film, it's not like it was my master plan and I went out and I implemented it. I didn't feel like that. I felt the film used me. The idea of the film used me and my skills, and I was this small part of it. And then these things happened that were just coincidences and synchronicities and grace and all these things that are beyond me. So I don't feel I made decisions to make this happen. Of course, I did my part, but it was so much bigger than me. So I can't imagine trying to do it better, because there was some mechanism going on that I just had no control over.
And I think about the do-over part, because, you know, do-over is a conversation that's we have often. We have those questions, comments, and conversations in our professional lives and our personal lives, like, oh, would I do that over? And I can imagine the scope of this with your team, putting this all together, being there. And I think about the evening at, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, where you go to Czar. Is that yes. How I pronounce it?
Czar,
okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the Czar. That was intriguing. From the Egyptian family who felt very strongly about the whys and the whats, to those folks who participated without knowing the whys and the whats. And in that moment, as you're in between all these dialogues and conversations, what's actually going through your head, Tarek, at that moment?
At the Czar moment was like, oh my God, I think this whole project's going to collapse. That's what I thought at that moment, because I thought the Egyptian family was so offended that they were going to just drop the whole thing, that they thought we were doing some crazy stuff and we had this hidden agenda. And then when Jason and Jenna thought we were promoting devil worship, I thought for sure they're not going to continue with us if they think we're devil worshipers. And so I thought this is going to be an utter disaster. I said, okay, this is it. And it was such a powerful turning point for me, because it was the example of, we all had our different beliefs, and yet we stayed in the container, right? So everybody kind of had their place, but they didn't leave, right? They were outside, they were inside, they were halfway in, everyone was there. And the Egyptian family, the father was like, I'm here to the end, I'm here for Jason and Jenna, right? And that was really inspiring. And I thought, if we could somehow, this small group of people, maintain peace in this circumstance, which wars are fought over, these types of beliefs, people fight wars over. If we can do it, why not the rest of the world, right? So that's what gave me the hope, is that if such strong beliefs can come together and still we manage to find a place for everybody, we don't all have to dance together and be together. We just need to make space for each other.
Mm-hmm. That's a very important lesson, the space part. And that, for me, resonates with truth and reconciliation. And I know you live in Switzerland, but you have Canadian roots. And you likely know of what has been happening here in terms of relearning, reemergence of issues and things that have been hidden away. But now it's about making space and listening and letting people live their truth. And Egyptian mom and dad left. What I thought was so interesting is they let the kids stay, but they removed themselves from the Czar. And that was amazing to me, because I put myself in their shoes in that moment of being a parent. And so if I'm presented with something that I don't believe in, it actually goes against my philosophy, but I let my kids stay so they could experience it, and then they could live their truth themselves. That's amazing. They gave their kids space in that moment as well. So that blew my mind. There's so many pieces, and you get this all the time. I know, Tarek, but I could continue asking questions and making comments, but I'm going to go back to our Zoom chat here. Anoop asked a question and poses a question. One of the things I was thinking about as I watched was the deep-rooted generational harm that produces beliefs about superiority. What are your thoughts about that? Because I'm guessing you probably felt a lot of that at the rally.
Yeah. Well, what's the interesting thing is it's a hard one. And what was really fascinating is that I'm not immune to that either. We were talking about Jason, right? And Jason and I locked heads for the first 3-4 days we were swimming in the Red Sea and we were like still debating, right? And it was exhausting. And it was really interesting because after 3 or 4 days of debating, I realized I'm trying to convert him to my path of tolerance as much as he's trying to convert me to his path, right? And that kind of, whoa, okay, why is that so important to me that Jason is tolerant in the way I see tolerance? Why is that so important, right? And then when I realized, you know what, as long as he's not violent or dangerous or hateful, why do I care? And then all of a sudden, I just could relax. And funnily enough, he could relax because he was also being very defensive because he felt I was trying to rob him of his beliefs. And then I saw this, that's how I saw this beautiful person after that, because before then I just saw this intolerant person who wants to spread their beliefs. But that's because of me having my superiority over what I felt his lifestyle was, right? Regardless, I still think what I was arguing for is a beautiful thing, because I was just simply saying, you know, I love your belief system, but maybe there's beauty in other belief systems. And yet, even though I'm supposedly arguing something I think is very beautiful, a sense of superiority can creep in, right? And as soon as I let go of that, I think it really relaxed things. So I think it's more important that one looks at one's own feelings of superiority. One focuses on connecting themselves, because there's a lot of arrogance out there. And I think the more we notice it and judge it, the more horrible the world becomes.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because I've never thought of it that way in terms of my superiority around my belief system. And that's, I don't know if that's a minority way of thinking, but you've just given me pause to rethink many of kind of our thoughts. And you know, in Canada, people of color are minorities, and there are some things that are taught to us of being, you know, children of immigrants, people of color, what that means to fit in, have your own identity, what that means to have your own identity as a professional even, right? There's so many, the scope is so large and very complex as well. So you've given me something to really think about, because what we normally think about from the generational aspect of it is the harm that's been done to us versus, okay, what do I need to rethink here about my own belief system?
Right. And I mean, we know Canada's not void of racism, right? This is like, you know, I mean, growing up, I was born and raised in Halifax, right? So and my house was vandalized and spray painted because we were darker than the rest. They you know, but the danger is to get into a victim mentality, and then comes reverse racism, right? That we feel more entitled to things because we were wronged, right? And then that doesn't get us anywhere. So I think it's important to get to a point of reconciliation, right? Truth and reconciliation, right? And come to this point where we share this land, this country. How can we all come together? We've you know, we all have our privilege in a certain way, and we all have our racism against us in a certain way, some more than others. But we can't just think because we belong to a certain group we're more entitled than another group. Period.
Absolutely.
Whether we're victims or persecutors or whatever, it's time to come together as human beings.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, there's been an awakening and a reckoning that's been happening in, you know, North America and across the globe over the last couple of years. And interesting that it's also during a pandemic, which adds another layer as well. You know, at the heart of the film for me has been around human connection. It's something that I deeply believe in. Like, you can connect with anybody. And Jenna comments to that too and says that, like, I can talk to anybody. I can be friends with anybody. I just needed to know what was appropriate in that moment. And so I really appreciated that too. When I think about the human connection, man, everybody needs Ozma's mom in their life. She is an amazing woman. She welcomed Katie, that's her name, Katie, into their home, asked all these great questions, knew exactly what mom was getting at through it all. And then was there for her as Katie was sharing her pain. And that, I think, for me, was just the moment of like, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are. When somebody needs you, you're there for them, regardless of language, religion, culture. How emotional was that trip? From not just for yourself, but on a scale of 1 to 10, for the whole group of participants in the film, Egyptian, American, the production crew, what was the scale of emotion?
Well, it's hard to say for the entire group. I think the film reflected, you saw there was a significant depth of emotion with like Ellen, Terry, Katie, right, and less so with the others. I feel in terms of deep emotions, and it reflects as well, like the camera crew that was following Katie and Ellen. I think they were participating in that, and it's interesting because even like the camera crews are in contact with the Americans and stuff. So a lot of friendships have come. So yeah, I mean it was definitely a powerful, emotional. I'd say half the group was really deeply, powerfully affected emotionally, and the other half less so. But doesn't mean the depth of what they were going through was any less. They were just not emotional people. Like Mark, the police officer, lovely character, but not very emotional, right? So very wise, had always the right thing to say, and but didn't, or if he was emotional, he hit it well.
Well, it's interesting because Ellen described you as stoic, and in my opinion, from the film, that's how I would describe Mark. Until we get to the end, and he is essentially making fun of or poking fun at his Egyptian host as well. So I thought that was really neat to see a different side of him in that moment as well. Yeah. We saw him in the pool. He didn't really interact so much with his Egyptian friend's child that was in the pool. So I was watchful of that. He was hesitant to get in the pool. There was a conversation around, is it cold, is it not? But I felt like he did come around in that moment. When you go back to where the rally is held, how was that? What was that feeling for you as you walked up to that stadium?
The thing is, a lot of people say, wow, you must have been really courageous and and the reality is, if you have a camera crew surrounding you, you don't feel that nervous somehow. Maybe I'm naive, although the camera crew was probably more nervous than I was, and the director was quite nervous. I was more excited and curious because this was the culmination for me of the going, like the whole instinct was, I'm going to go to those people who are afraid of me and talk to them and give them my hand and reach out to them. And that was really the culmination of that moment. So I was really excited to see what happened. And yeah, I mean, I could have taken a bit more risk, but I wore the MAGA hat. I blended in. I was careful with the questions I asked. So yeah, it was fascinating. It was fascinating. Yeah.
Even to have that lens that it was fascinating, Tarek, is just amazes me. I'm still having a hard time kind of wrapping my mind around that. But I'm also that person too who sees what she sees on TV and in the news, right? Just like the Americans see around, you know, Egyptians and other countries as well. So that's learning from myself as well.
What was also interesting about the Trump rally, by the way, is that we did cross over to the anti-Trump demonstrators, and I still had my MAGA hat on, and it was fascinating how they treated me with that hat. Some of them were nice, but others were very insulting, wouldn't shake my hand, and very angry at me. And one man, I'm like, well, why don't you speak to me? Because you're a racist. I go, okay, well, let's talk. And he's, no, go away, right? So I understand the anger. I understand why that's there, but we also have to see, we can be angry, but is this anger going to help solve the problem, right? If someone's reaching out and wants to talk to you, talk, right? I don't care who he is. If someone's wants to talk to you, you talk. If you don't talk, then there's no hope.
Mm-hmm. If you don't talk, you don't communicate, come to the table with the expectation to communicate, there's no hope. Yes. And so what would be your advice to people like myself, or those who are in communities where we're challenged with racism in different levels? And what would be your advice to us in regards to the lessons from this film, even with the work that you're doing around Pledge to Listen? Like, what does that mean for you, and what can I do, or our guests today walk away with from like this is my action, this is my to-do. Tarek gave me a to-do, and I'm going to do this.
I think I would challenge people to look at their judgments of others, right? I think we touched upon this earlier. I think it's very easy to slip in as an activist, to slip into a self-righteous mode, right? And to have judgment, and it could be correct judgment, but that judgment gets in the way of connection, and you cannot convert people to tolerance through righteousness. It doesn't work, right? If you put yourself on a pedestal where let's say you are talking to someone who's saying racist things, as soon as you're wrong and this and that, you're not gonna make the world better. I don't believe so. I think as soon as you take it with the eyes of, I want to try to connect with this person, then the magic occurs. And this is what I'm saying, with true bigots, which are the very few minority, no magic will occur. It's just a wall. They don't look at you, they don't connect, they're just blabbing. You saw that on the film, a couple of people, right? And there's no hope, but you need to try, right? And otherwise, even if someone's racist, talk. And the other thing I realize, and maybe it helps others, is that we react in certain ways because fear is triggered within us. We've experienced racism, so when we hear a racist idea, we feel it's dangerous. And I think it's important to realize in that moment, you are safe. The idea in itself at that moment is not dangerous. So as soon as I felt that, I could just come from a place of peace and just talk and listen. And it's like, okay, you want a wall built? Tell me why. Right? And then all of a sudden their defenses go down, my defenses go down, and then some sort of connection occurs. And I don't try to steer it. I need to convert people to stop thinking this way. Then I think that's when it happens. I think, and the other thing, especially activists, is stop thinking, and activists hate me when I say this, you're going to change the world. You are not responsible for changing the world. The world is much bigger than you, and the world doesn't need you. It's a privilege to add a little tiny bit of compassion to the world. So just do your part without feeling the burden of the world on your shoulders. The world is giving you this opportunity to be a better person, right? And if you just come with a lightness and not a self-righteousness and a joy in what you're doing, I think it has a stronger effect than this righteous, I'm going to change the world, you're wrong, you need to listen to me.
Is that who you were in your early 20s?
Absolutely.
And somewhat, as you say in the film as well, how Jason was at that time as well, being younger, and having a very loud voice and amplifying it the way he only knew how, right? And he tried to amplify it even on the trip to Egypt, as well. So thank you for your sage advice and your wise words for us. All we have is hope, right? And that we continue to learn, and sometimes we have to unlearn and relearn through life, and that is what part of our evolution of this learning journey around diversity and inclusion. And that phrase has become a buzz phrase over the last couple of years. But living diversity and inclusion and being an ally is so very, very important. And what would be your advice to that younger generation? So if I'm having a conversation with my kids around being open and around diversity and inclusion, or even those moments where they've experienced something that they don't really necessarily understand, how do you have any advice to how parents or families can have those conversations with your children? Because that Egyptian family, it's 4 children. Was it 3 girls and the son, I believe?
No, 2 girls and 2 boys.
2 girls and 2 boys. So it was the 4 kids in total. And I think about their conversation around the dinner table, that, we've been approached by Tarek and want to do this movie and pair us up with these American people. How did that conversation even happen? And so I know I'm leaning into the family and parents quite a bit, but that is my life in this moment. So any sort of advice to us?
That's a hard one. I think it depends on the age, right? And I think because I sometimes think the younger children are actually wiser than we are naturally, and they come across less judgmental. I think it's important, though, to again come from a place of love and hope with your children, right? I think there's things that happen in school. One can immediately say, okay, yes, this is because you're a minority and this is the way white people are, and you need to know. Or you can just say, well, Jason's a jerk, he shouldn't have done that. Not this Jason, John, whatever the name is, right? And just contextualize things. I think there's a fine line between instilling a sense of responsibility in our children and instilling a sense of fear that we're living in this racist society. I think it's important that we see humanity as larger than the small racists that exist in it. And I think I really think that's important, and that's different than people who are working in solving the systemic racism problems, right? That's a whole other area, yeah. Right? But I think we're talking about children and how they relate and what's happening in school. And let's face it, kids will be mean when they have fights, and they'll just point out at any difference. Right? If you have a big nose, they'll you're the big nose guy, right? So you're the dark one. You're the whatever. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily racism per se. Kids are cruel and like to highlight difference. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't instill this thing about you're the minority and we need to stick up and all that stuff. I would really contextualize what would happen.
That's great advice, because probably something that I was told as a child as I was facing these situations was like, be quiet, don't be the squeaky wheel, just get through and it'll be another day the next day. And this is the unlearning part of that, and then relearning around how to handle those situations in a different way today with kindness and grace, right? Which is really like, I will lean into that as much as possible in those moments where maybe I'm not quite sure what to do. I will lean into that moment as well. We are near time for our session today. And I'm just going to scroll through, see if there's any more questions here through Zoom. Oh, we didn't really get to talk a whole lot around Pledge to Listen. As we end our time together today, would you like to share a few thoughts around that movement and how we can be a part of that movement?
So Pledge to Listen movement came out of the film. So we were wondering, well, what was it that made it successful? What was it? And it was the listening and respect, right? That's what we felt was. And then came the Pledge to Listen movement. So then people signed up for it, and then it started to grow. And then it was interesting because I met some American activists, and there was this one woman, Summer Ali, who has an organization called Millions of Conversations. And she basically worked for a Republican governor and a Democratic president, right? So she was really this beacon of beyond partisan and all that stuff. So they basically they took over Pledge to Listen, and they're now doing discussion groups and things of that sort. So you can find on our website information on how to sign up for Pledge to Listen, or go to the Millions of Conversations website.
Wonderful. And the free trip to Egypt link has been posted in the Zoom chat, and I believe in the YouTube chat as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to be able to connect with you this way. I'd also like to thank the incredible team at the Intercultural Society for all their efforts to bringing this event together, especially to Elizabeth Croft. Thank you so much. Also, a huge thank you to Tim and the Duncan Showroom for their tremendous production support. We wouldn't be able to connect this way if it wasn't for Tim at the Duncan Showroom. Thank you so much, Tim. Also, just thank you to all of our sponsors, our presenters, and our audience today as well. You've been amazing. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday night. And glad to hear you're in Ottawa. So you're ready for bed, is what it is, Tarek. And just so everyone knows as well, the Q&A session recording will be posted on the Intercultural Society's website. And with that, I say thank you and have a great night. And just thank you so much for having me as well. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night, Tarek. Bye, everybody. Are you guys still there? Okay.